best things investing in your kids' ears and nesting. Now this looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, cause we need a little controversy, cause it feels so empty without me. I said this looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, cause we need a little controversy, cause it feels so empty without me.
Howdy!
Howdy,
Welcome under the hat. I'm Bellboy.
I'm Sydney.
And this is Judgment Day review. Right, now, yeah, the event wasn't too bad. Wouldn't say it was great, wouldn't say it was bad. So, where I got too bad from, it was pretty good. Starting off the event, we had CM Punk in his hometown coming up against Umaga.
Yeah?
This was not a bad first match. Quite surprised CM Punk lost, to be fair, in his hometown.
It was, it wasn't too bad a match. I mean, a good return for Umaga back into the wrestling game. He did very well there. And yeah, quite surprising that CM Punk lost. I thought there was going to be another part to play for CM Punk, because I predicted him to lose and then maybe cash in the Money in the Bank, but didn't end up doing that in his hometown. So
no. Yeah. Good return for Umaga. I was glad he came back with a bit of heat.
Yeah.
Then we had Morrison versus Shelton Benjamin. Now this was added to the card very late. We didn't even make a prediction for this. But when I would say we'd have probably gone with Morrison, seeing as they're trying to get him over. Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas came out together, but Morrison, he's coming on pretty well. Morrison, they're trying to make him a quite a well-established face, it looks like, and
very good wrestling moves there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 360 somersault that he did off the top rope. That was really good to the outside. Very dangerous. He hit his head doing that move, but we like to see a lot of those high-flying moves. Yeah. These two are the future of the company. I mean, they could be the future of the company. They're very good wrestlers. Need to work on their mic skills slightly, but they are very good. Their wrestling ability is second to none.
They really are the future. I agree with that one. Right, then I believe we had a little stint with The Miz and Santino. Now this was very funny actually. The Miz is quite impressive actually on the mic. He's coming over quite well. I think you might have just seen Raw as well. He's getting a lot more mic time. He seems to be quite funny, maybe irritating in some of your eyes, but
Yeah, I wasn't sure about him being a heel, but he knows how to wind up people. A lot like Jericho can, but he does it in a funny way, which is good to see.
Yeah, it's true.
So, yeah, I mean, the future's looking bright for The Miz as well, and I didn't think that was going to happen, but it's looking good for The Miz.
Yeah, that photograph I got in Orlando with him might actually be worth something one day. Jericho versus Mysterio Intercontinental Championship. Now, we predicted Mysterio to walk away with the championship, and he did. Yep, he retained, which was it was a good match.
We did think it was going to be a DQ, but I mean,
yeah.
he won a clean victory there.
Clean victory, yeah. Some of the fans actually cheering. The Chicago State Arena fans don't seem to like Mysterio as much as everywhere else. They all seem to favour. I remember WrestleMania 22 when he won the title, they didn't really favour him too much in that match. There's quite a few Y2J chants, but nevertheless, when he actually did win, they were there. They were applauding and liked the fact that he retained the title.
Yeah.
Then we went on to
Big Show Cena.
Yes, Big Show Cena. Big Show dominated most of this match, to be fair, but I think we all knew that Cena was going to come out at the top in the end, and we predicted right again with this one.
We did, yeah.
Cena winning with the FU.
He couldn't get the STFU, which leads us on to the next main event, submission match, where he's trying to do that.
I think he will manage to do that again, but then that's a different topic for another time.
Yeah, let's wait until our prediction show for that one, I think.
I reckon so. But yeah, relatively good match, nothing special, but Cena with a one-up on the Big Show there. How can we forget Christian? and Jack Swagger.
Christian and Jack Swagger. Yeah, successful defence of the title for Christian there.
Yeah. A lot of clean wins, I noticed. Well, this wasn't necessarily clean. He did hook his tights.
Yeah, he did. Not a bad match. I mean, they've got quite good chemistry in the ring. Very good wrestling ability. Not too bad. And then good to see Christian defending the title.
Yeah.
I can see him maybe going against Tommy Dreamer at the ECW one night stand, but we'll have to see about that one.
Yeah, that might be, that could be the case if they're still doing that storyline, that is. Another prediction, right? We're doing pretty well with these predictions, actually. We didn't think Christian was going to retain. Now on to the big two title matches. Orton versus Batista. Now this was a disappointing end, to be fair. This was a bit disappointing end on Raw, let alone at a pay-per-view. Match wasn't all that great, and then all of a sudden, at the end of the match, the referee got in the way slightly in the turnbuckle. Orton ended up slapping the ref in the face, and the referee DQ'd him.
That's just Raw's storyline. It just shows that it's not as good as SmackDown at the moment altogether, and even ECW is doing quite well at the moment, but Raw seems to be dipping a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it only had two matches on the card, and then it had 2 segments on the card, and then you had SmackDown having about 4. So it looked bad for Raw. Judgment Day, but hopefully it can pick things up in the future.
Yeah, the last Raw, I don't know if you've just seen it, but it does seem to have picked the business up a little bit.
A little bit.
Then we went on to the last match. This was a good match, probably the best match of the night. Edge versus Jeff. They did some nutty stuff. I remember the spear off the... Jeff was going to do his usual little running up clothesline thing he does off the barrier, but Edge speared him off the announce table, went right down onto the concrete, and that was very good. That was very good,
and then you had the whisper in the wind into the barricade,
yeah,
and that's where Matt Hardy came out with his cast and hit him.
Oh yeah.
So then Edge could pick up a victory then, but he did it in style with a execution or a superplex. We didn't know which. They called it both on the event. Maybe just a mucked up move, but nevertheless it looked quite good.
It did. It was a very high impact. I'd say it was an execution DDT, yeah. It looked more like that than a superplex.
Well, I think it was JR, he said an execution at first, and then he said a superplex second, so corrected himself. But I think it was a move that went wrong, but nevertheless it looked good.
It did, and it ended the match, and a clean win for Edge. I did predict Edge to win.
Clean win is a bit of a, incorrect statement, I think, because Matt Hardy did use his cast.
Yeah, he did.
He hit of Jeff.
I suppose it did, yeah.
So, but a cleaner win, shall we say?
Yeah, a win, like...
I'd say a cleaner win.
A cleaner win for Edge.
Because he doesn't get many clean wins at all.
He doesn't.
Anymore.
True. But nevertheless, I reckon I wasn't that impressed with the event. I think it was okay. I'll probably give it about, at most, 7 out of 10. Probably 6.5 out of 10.
6.5. Yeah, I'd probably give it about the same.
Yeah. I'm looking onwards and upwards for the next pay-per-view. Extreme Rules should be good, but that's in a few weeks' time. I believe I've got an idea, actually, for the next episode. Now, I wonder if you guys have seen one of our previous episodes. I hope you have. It's one of our favourites. Top 5 wrestling themes. Now, this Sydney had a lot of fun with this. Have a look at the video. He was loving it, as was I. But I had a request, actually, from one of our personal friends recently, for our top 5 worst themes of all time. Now this could be interesting. What do you think, Sid?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I reckon it's top 5 worst themes of all time. Now this is going to be fun. So that's the next one coming up.
Yeah.
And I believe it's going to be a good one.
And until next time, what goes on under the hat stays under the hat.